Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Torch. I'm Jake.
And I'm Kimberly.
And today we are speaking with Jeff Gentry from Journeyage. Hi, Jeff.
Hey.
Jeff, you're our first interview for season 2 of The Torch.
I'm honored. Thank you.
We're so excited to have you on the show today, Jeff. We love everything you're doing over at Journeyage. I came to find out about Journeyage a few ways. So good friend Jonathan Cottrell, he's the co-founder of Journeyage, correct? Me if I'm okay, yeah. He's a co-founder.
Yep.
He's amazing. One of my dearest friends in the Phoenix startup scene, and he's just a very generous person and he builds amazing companies. And so that's how I first found out about Journeyage. And then one of our other team members at BBB, our entrepreneur program manager, knows another of Jeff's colleagues at Journeyage. So we've had the pleasure to get to know the Journeyage team in 2020, and we're excited to announce a special project with them on today's episode. So we will just jump right in, and I don't want to butcher it too much more. So Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about what Journeyage is and what you guys do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Journeyage is a learning experience personalization platform. So you can think of it as kind of the next evolution of the traditional LMS or learning management system software. So think online courses, trainings, lessons, but really what we're trying to do is push that industry forward through an innovative approach to content personalization and user experience.
Awesome. So what do you do at Journeyage, Jeff?
Yeah. So my role at Journeyage, I head up our learning experience design team. And practically what that means is that my team works directly with businesses to do a couple of things. The biggest part of my team's work is partnering with companies to develop new training from scratch that fully takes advantage of our platforms. So design features, learning features, content that is really made with our full functionality in mind. In addition to that, what we can do is work with organizations that kind of have existing content, existing training, and then sort of rework, really fit our platform, maybe touch things up here or there, just to make sure it translates well. So very content heavy, very design heavy.
Right. And it sounds like everything is kind of tailor-made to each client that you have, right?
Yeah. I mean, personalization really runs through the whole of the company and the experience.
So Jeff, what's your background? What did you do before Journeyage?
Yeah. So, I mean, a few things, right? I've got a pretty extensive background working in kind of nonprofit, faith-based college ministry type stuff. So I did that at NAU. I'm an alum from Northern Arizona University.
You might be our first lumberjack on the show, Jeff.
Really? Okay, awesome. I come from that generation of student that doesn't have a ton of school pride, but like I did love my time there. Flagstaff is awesome. I miss it most days. So it's changed a lot. I mean, it's like 18,000 students when I went, and it's like over 30,000 now. So it's it has grown a ton. So I worked at NAU for a little bit doing the nonprofit work, ASU, USC. I lived in Los Angeles for a couple of years, and then I also have some pretty extensive experience as a freelance content marketer. So have gotten to work with quite a few startups in the Bay Area. Super fun. Love doing that kind of stuff. And then probably maybe most related to this is I helped a former roommate and a former coworker start a company that took books of the Bible and reimagined them visually with original art. So really, that's kind of where I cut my teeth on design, clean design, experience, that kind of stuff. So.
And how did you link up with Journeyage?
Yeah, so when I moved out to Phoenix after living in Los Angeles, my wife and I got married. We moved back to Phoenix. Her family's from here. We had a mutual friend who had connected with Jonathan kind of through the startup world. And my friend told me to basically just email him, give him a phone call. And we did that. And that was super random for me. I'm like, okay, here's this stranger that I'm going to call and hope that is a good thing. And we just formed a friendship, like it. And eventually, as Journeyage became more of a thing, more of a reality, it was just a good opportunity for us to work together.
That was a clutch introduction. Anyone who introduces you to Jonathan is a hero.
Yeah, basically.
I wanted to ask you kind of a sidebar question there. Speaking of Journeyage and the amazing design element, talk just a little about your kind of map and travel theme to the company.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're really committed to it. It's the name, so we can't really escape that, I guess. We really want the learning experience to be this journey that the learner goes on. We're really committed to helping the learner move from point A to point B to point C. I think it helps us as we think about kind of the realities of building a company, kind of what led and what we need to do to get to that destination. But it also gives us just a really helpful framework for how we think about the experience of our customers, how we want them to think about the process of developing impactful and meaningful training. It can apply out in a lot of different ways. And it's definitely, I think it works for us.
How does Journeyage work with businesses? What's your collaboration style like with your client?
Yeah, we have a pretty thorough onboarding experience that helps businesses just get a super firm grasp of their objectives and the training that they want to develop. We do this to kind of get them familiar with the content types and formats available to them in the course creation process. These meetings are really key to how we work with people to help us ensure that there's like a clear vision, clear set of learning objectives, structure to the learning experience. That's really baked into what we do from the get-go, and I would say it's even kind of a part of our sales process. Once all of those elements are in place, our learning experience management team and our learning experience design team, the team I head up, we work hand in hand to develop and deliver and iterate on the trainings that our customers want. And that involves everything from interviewing subject matter experts to writing to kind of laying out the course and the platform. And that process really ends up feeling like a sprint. So super clear production and testing cycles helps us make sure that we're hitting the mark, that customers are happy with what they're getting. And we just kind of run that back again and again until we get to a completed learning experience.
Any of this process sound familiar to you, Kimberly?
Yes, very familiar. It definitely reminds me of a lot of the work we do especially with the iteration. We've done that a lot with our programs at BBB and even with this podcast. So, Jeff, tell us about the new course that you have created to help small business owners.
Yeah, so we partnered together with the BBB here in the Pacific Southwest, Desert Financial Credit Union, and Coastal Payroll to put together a comprehensive learning experience to guide small business owners through the process of navigating the CARES Act. Specifically, we want to help people get up to speed on the Paycheck Protection Program loans that they can apply for, kind of what that is, how to apply for it, really walk people through the process so that it's super clear and simple.
Really, it's really great information to us because, our audience are those small businesses. It's really great that we are able to link up with a company like Journeyage and have this like content to put out there for them, make available for them. It's really key, timely information for them. During the design and interview process for the course, what did you learn? Was there anything that surprised you?
Yeah, well, I learned a ton about PPP loans specifically, and I think just the CARES Act as a whole. I mean, everyone that I talked to, it's a piece of financial legislation that has just never really existed in our lifetimes. It's an incredible attempt to help hurting small businesses. I think even through the ease of application, how little information is being asked for, and the amount of money that's being made available. I think beyond learning about the subject itself, I was really moved by how creative these sort of large financial institutions are getting in order to help small businesses. It kind of feels like a crossroads. Lots of free advice, help, and really just a genuine desire to get people what they need to weather this pandemic and kind of the subsequent economic downturn that we're facing.
Yeah, so one of the things Jeff mentioned at the start, but I wanted to reiterate, was it was a really quick and fast-moving partnership that Journeyage led on, and they came to BBB and offered this idea to help small businesses. Why don't we kind of compile all of this confusing information into an online course? And then we brought to the table Desert Financial Credit Union, who is an amazing partner around Arizona, as well as Coastal Payroll, who's headquartered in Southern California. So I guess my next question, if I'm a business owner listening to the podcast, is there a catch? How much does this cost me? And how long does it take to go through this course, Jeff?
Sure. Well, there's no catch. It doesn't cost anything. The course is completely free. Fair question, but it was important to us that this information and really learning experience was available at no cost, both for our users and our partners. I think it's important that every business figure out their way to help other people out in this time. So this was kind of our attempt at that. The length of the course, that's really going to depend on how much people want to dive supplemental material. I think the fastest you could get through it, if you're really reading it, would be maybe like 25 minutes to 30 minutes. And then if you really want to dig into some of the webinars, extra resources, click on all the links, you're probably looking at more like an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I think depending on what people are trying to get out of it, if you're just trying to figure out how to, like, what is the PPP? How do I apply? How do I get it? Like, that's going to be a pretty fast experience. And if you want to learn more, if you want to be able to maybe teach it, then that'll take a little bit longer.
Thank you so much to you and to the team at Journeyage for making this completely free for small business owners. That was huge of you guys to do, and we're really appreciative of that at BBB. And it's going to be a great resource, not just for our members, but any small business owner can attend this online course and really learn from it. You don't just have to be in Arizona, which is the beauty of it. And you've done a remarkable job of sifting through some pretty confusing content. So that's why we're really proud to offer this and share this out with our members. And I know that Desert Financial, Credit Union, and Coastal Payroll are looking forward to sharing it with their clients too, because there's a lot of confusion and there's only so many hours in the day to do one-on-one consultations. So this is a great way that we hope to reach a mass audience of business owners.
And speaking to the accessibility, I was just sent a link to it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even need to create like a login or anything for it, right? I can just get the link, and that's fantastic. That's huge.
Yeah, no, completely open. We're not trying to collect user information. It's just, you can go to it, you can use it. It's there for you.
How can I take the course?
The link would be bbb-psw.journeyage.com. And that's really all you need. You'll find the course right there, and you can start taking it.
So Jeff, the next question is, do you have any sage advice for small business owners during this time?
A lot of it feels context specific. There's a ton of unknown right now. I would say if you've been negatively impacted by COVID-19, and I think that most small businesses can make a case for that, applying for a PPP loan is absolutely something that you should look into or do. If you can get it, it really does seem, again, like most small businesses would qualify. You're looking at extending the runway of your business by potentially 8 weeks or longer, and that just feels really critical right now. I think also this is just a time for creative thinking. Just from everyone that I was talking to while making the course, it really seems like now is the time to get innovative and creative in how we solve problems, how we plan for business, and how we execute on our strategies. And those are tension points, right? Like survival and creativity. And I think if we can lean into both of those things, I think we give ourselves the best possible shot at making it through the other side.
The sagest of wisdom.
Very sage.
That's what I go for. That's I'll put that on my LinkedIn.
So we might go a little bit off road a little bit, which is the fun stuff starts. But Great. If you could meet anyone living or dead, who would it be and why? This is, to give you a little context, this is the standard question on our podcast. Everyone gets to answer it. And we really just like seeing what everyone says.
Sure. So I this is probably the question I put the most thought into, because there's just like so many different ways that you could go. I think that for me, I've always been drawn to creatives and artists. So there's just, to me, there's something about the artistic and creative life that can really help forge a more holistic approach to business. So I would say right now it'd be Robert Irwin. He's an American installation artist from Los Angeles. He's in his late or early 90s, I think, 91. But he's done a ton of work using like structures to manipulate light and through that create art that really kind of pushes people past art as object and really into art as experience. And in my job, I mean, I'm kind of looking at that same blurred line between learning and experience. So really wanting people to grapple with, what do you really need to learn, and what can help push that learning experience beyond what we traditionally think of as learning. So there's this really fantastic book that I'm going to plug by Lawrence Welcher called Seeing is Forgetting the Name of the Thing One Sees. And it's basically this like collection of interviews over the entire course of Irwin's career that, I mean, I just found incredibly informative. Like it's an art book, so you really have to be willing to kind of go down the rabbit trail a little bit. But if you can get down to the bottom of it, I think that there's just some incredible perspective on what it means to make things, which I think is just intrinsically connected to the business and startup experience. I would pick him maybe even more particularly because he used to drive out from LA to Phoenix just to walk around the botanical gardens for a day, because he was so into the idea of kind of how landscape and architecture just becomes so seamless. So if I could walk around to the Phoenix Botanical Gardens and talk with Robert Irwin about art, that would be my pick.
Is there a specific Irwin piece that resonates with you like above everything else?
I think it's more conceptual, right? Because most of his pieces, like, they exist for a very short amount of time and then they're not really a thing anymore. So like it's pretty difficult to just go and like find one, right? Like you can't just like look at, like, there's no painting to look at, right? It's pictures of what has existed. So I think that my resonance with him is more philosophical because, those pieces just don't exist for me to go walk around and see.
Right. And it seems like you've kind of taken the essence of Irwin into your own kind of line of work, right? Because you're creating these things, you're taking all these concepts, putting them together and making them tools for people to learn how to, survive during a pandemic, as far as their small business goes. So kudos to you.
Trying. I mean, it's, I think at the end of the day, if you can create an experience that allows people to maybe consider their own lives and move forward in a way that is better than before, then like that's success. Like then it worked. Whatever you made work. So, yeah.
I love it, and absolutely love the Desert Botanical Garden. So would miss that drive too.
Yeah.
So before we go today, if I'm interested in working with you or with Journeyage, where would I go to find out?
I would go to journeyage.com. You can shoot us an email that way, and would love to chat with whoever wants to. But thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. I'm super pleased with how this course came together, and I'm excited to see how people are going to get to experience it.
Thank you so much for all the hard work you put into it. It's going to be a phenomenal resource for every business owner that is looking to apply for PPP. And just to reiterate what you said, we wanted to inform business owners through this course and encourage them that they should look into applying for this funding. It's historic, and if it can help your business survive, it's absolutely worth your time and effort. So we can't thank you guys enough, and we will definitely make the link available in our show notes, and we'll be promoting it a lot, and it will be live as of right now when you're listening to this podcast. And Jake and I are so awkward. Do you want to end the show, Jeff?
Oh, I don't know what I would do.
See, exactly.
I would also be awkward. like how do you?
See, the awkward moments usually become the endings.
Sure. You guys need like an ending segment. Do you not have an ending segment?
We do. Like, we have music that will play you out, but Jake is not going to cut any of this out right now. So so we have to just rely on what would the Jeff Gentry sign off be?
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
And then boom, that's where it cuts out.
Yeah, there you go. I'll give you an honest. I'll give you something honest. I figured that was better than being contrived. That's actually how I felt in that moment.
Perfection.